Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hope you are having a great Friday. Welcome to my very impromptu late night podcast. Oh, it's just, I see Lydia. Lydia in the chat. Lydia. Oh, I was about to say, Lydia, it's just going to be you and I. But I see. Hi, Lydia, my friend. How are you doing? And I see Black Queen, our awesome moderator. Or well, Lydia is also a moderator, and Black Queen is also a moderator. And Angela and Auntie Jade and Judy are joining us. Hello, guys. Um, welcome. This is it's so impromptu, but I'm like, there's so many things happened today that I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot keep all these things in my brain. I have to chat with my friends about it. I'm sure you guys have been keeping up and just sort of following all the madness in the UK. It has been a day, but oh my gosh, wait a minute. Why aren't you guys sleeping? What are you doing up at this hour? I mean, I know my UK friends on here because it's like early morning there. You know, Rosalind is here and Mama Jade is here. Oh my gosh. Berta is here and Claudia. Hi, guys. Mercedes Golf. Hey, Mercedes and Mara and Christopher. Hello, guys. Who else is here? My computer is just sticking, so I don't know what is. I hope you're hearing me well because it's just on my end. It's just freezing up. So, let's see who else is here. Vanessa is here. Kim Coates is here. Rosalind is here. Oh my goodness! I'm so happy I'm not the only late bird here, that we can actually hang out at this hour and chat about all things. Well, I was not even Sussex because not really all things Sussex, some Sussex, but all the other crazy stuff that is happening in the UK as well. But before we even get to that, welcome. As you know, we're a channel that's supposed to do Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola, Guy, the Chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome. You guys, let me know if you're hearing me well or if I'm going in and out. Again, it could just be my internet that's going crazy, but hopefully you're hearing me well. And you know, so Joan Garcia is here. Hello, Joan Garcia. How are you? It's good to see you. Um, welcome. Um, but anyways, our faves are doing great under their tree. As long as they're doing good, we're happy, right? We are very happy to see our faves are doing whatever it is they're doing, and they're just continuing to do great works. The actually Archwell dropped this today, and so it was just like, oh, this is really cool. Again, we didn't even know they were working on this, but they tend to do their stuff and then tell us about it later. And so this dropped today from them. Equimundo reports, this Archwell posting this, the state of the world's father. Equimundo, an organization working internationally to engage men and boys as allies in gender equality, has released the State of the World's Fathers 2023 report. They conducted research across 17 countries and surveyed thousands of men and women. The 2023 data shows that men are increasingly involved in caregiving and would like to increase their care work at home. Although deeply ingrained social norms and lack of supportive policies and power structures discourage them from doing so. The report recognizes care work as the bedrock of society and calls for continued advancement toward gender equality. It also emphasizes the need for a media representation that normalizes men caregiving roles. And so it's really good. We know that, Prince Harry is a very hands-on dad. And so it was, when I saw this, like, you go, Harry, you advocating for your papa roles there, you know very hands-on, very involved in parenting, and not just like, yeah, the kids, Meghan, I'm going off to work. Oh no, Harry, especially as we know the kind of how he was raised and the kind of situations he was in as a member of the royal family, how just lacking in care, which is something that is in the royal family. They just have not grown in that area at all. But Harry very much wants, and is very much actually has broken that cycle and is really, really hands on with his kids. So it's great to see him, teaming up with Equimundo and, really focusing on equality and sharing and parenting as much as moms do. They usually leave that role for mama. And Harry's like, I want to be all up in this too. Male caregivers are important. The kids need that. And so it's just really great to see. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you guys can, and Equimundo, they actually gave a link to Equimundo. So, and because I was rushing, I didn't get to read through the Equimundo, what they said. But I know at the end, they thanked Archwell for helping, I guess, to fund the research. And so so they are working with Equimundo. And it's great because they're working with AHA, the mental health organization, and working with parents and teens, and now they're working with dads. So it's just really, they are focusing on family. And so you go Sussexes. They're just doing their stuff in their quiet little corner in Montecito. So yes. Judy, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just for your generosity. Thank you. What else is going on in the Sussex world? Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, Meghan is queen of the small screen. Maybe that's what I should title this episode. Meghan, queen of the small screen. I think I'm going to do that, because as someone mentioned, Suits has been on Amazon and Peacock for however long it's been there. And it's just sort of been there, and nobody is really, it hasn't really been doing a whole lot. It's just there. People can watch it. And there was no big anything about it. All of a sudden in June, Suits lands on Netflix, and this thing has taken off in like unbelievable. It is just like, are you serious? Suits was like number one in the Nielsen rating. And so this dropped, and it was just like, oh my gosh. Again, like I was saying yesterday, it's like everyone is discovering and rediscovering Suits. Nielsen streaming top 10 Suits lead with 2 billion minutes watched after Netflix debut. I mean, this is an old show. And especially season 1, everybody is like jonesing about Meghan. It's like, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so hot, name it, and people are just tweeting about how addicted they are to the show, and Variety goes on to say during the week, June 15th to 25 viewing window, a new old favorite took number 1 position, Suits, the USA Network legal drama that concluded in 2019 and recently landed on Netflix. Suits was watched by 2.3 Suits was watched for 2.3 billion minutes. During this viewing period, which marked the first full week that the series had been available on Netflix. Though it should be noted that Suits is already available on Peacock, like I said, and this statistics indicates viewership across both streamers. This is the first time in nearly 4 months that a title has crossed the 2 billion minute mark on the Nielsen streaming top 10. I mean, it is amazing that that many people. That's in territory of the Meghan and Harry docuseries, because the last time we checked on it in January, who knows what it's now. It's like probably up in the 2 billion. In January it was 1.9 billion watch minutes, and it's just like, are you serious? I mean, it is amazing that this show has been doing so well. And, so just to make sure, here is the little statistic from Nielsen. Our top 10 streaming list is live, and they posted this yesterday. Fit to Perfection Suits breaks the 2 billion minute viewed threshold for any show in 4 months. And so the show was recently added to Netflix and Peacock, and yeah, so it just, I think more people were just, I think because Netflix is just the more popular of them. I've never seen Peacock. I've never been on Peacock, so I have no idea. But yeah, this thing is just amazing. It's like a new show. This thing is beating new shows. And so I'm telling you, the power that is Meghan, I mean, the drawing power of this woman is absolutely amazing. I just was like, oh my gosh. Again, this is an old show. you know, I mean, if ever Meghan ever decided that she was going to go back to television, I mean, hello, she said no, she's not interested. But it is just amazing. It is absolutely, absolutely amazing. So it is just, Little Max says, I know, right? She says, I wish I had this much failure as Meghan. I noticed the British press is not talking about the success of Suits. Of course not, because it doesn't jive with their narrative of Harry and Meghan are failures. It doesn't jive with that. So of course they're not going to say anything about it. It's just, it's absolutely funny. I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. Um, let's see. Joan said, "Oh, she's talking to Lydia. She says, Lydia, watching that. I remember the first episode I watched it on USA Network. Meghan stood out, and she's standing out for just about everybody, especially the guys. I mean, you're almost going to be like, Meghan is married and she has a very jealous husband, so you might just want to park that, or at least get in line because everybody wants Meghan. It is just really, really funny. But kudos to them. Kudos to the cast and crew of Suits. I mean, this is it's so much more popular now than when it was actually running. It's amazing. And so one of my concerns yesterday when we were talking about it was that to make sure that the cast and crew, at least I was focusing more on the cast, but really the cast and crew gets paid, gets their residuals. And so we got a little bit of insight, not about the cast, but at least about the writers of the show. And Aaron Korsh is, I'm just going to move myself out of the way. Just give me 1 second there. As I do that, if you are here and you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Please like and share this video. And if you're able to join the channel, our 2 cents crew, that would be awesome. Actually, no, I could just move myself. I think the banner is fine to stay. Let's leave the banner for a while. So to remind people to like and subscribe and join. Yeah, that could stay there. All right. So anyway, so Aaron Korsh is the creator of Suits. And so he tweeted this. He says, the truth is that Suits for writers, I don't know about the actors because the Writers Guild is different from SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild, and their contracts are very different. So he, as a writer, is speaking from the writer's perspective. He says, for writers, don't know about the creators is more an example of WGA residuals gains of the last strike than what we are asking for in this strike, because we were made for cable, then sold to streamers, Amazon, Peacock, and Netflix. We get residuals from cable, foreign, and the streamers. The streamer residuals are directly the result of gains from the 07 strike. However, if we were made directly for a streamer, those residuals would be essentially zero, which is one of the reasons why we strike today. And just to clarify what he's saying is that because and again, this is for the writers. He's not sure about SAG, but I'm assuming it's the same. because their show was made for a cable show, for example, it was made for USA, not a streamer like Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. Because it was made for a cable show and then it was sold to Amazon, Peacock, Netflix, etc., they get their residuals because I would assume um, the network USA would have, whatever their deal that they worked out with the streamers, it included that the cast and at least the crew here gets their residuals. They get cable residuals, they get foreign residuals, and they also get streamer residuals. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that is the same for the actors. And he's saying those benefits that they get with those residuals is from when they went on strike in 2007. So they are getting the benefit of their last strike. And he said, however, if we were made directly for the streamers, that means if Netflix or Peacock or Amazon created the show, our residuals right now would be zero. And that is absolutely true. Because I was mentioning Orange is the New Black. I think it was yesterday. One of the actors tweeted that they literally their residual check was, I think, 81 cents or something like that. That's right, 81 cents. Some people are getting nothing. And it's just like Netflix, and whether it's Netflix or Disney or Peacock or whatever, they are not paying their creators. And so that is the reason that they are striking right now. And it just, I mean, I can't imagine they are using your work that you created. They are, especially say in the case of Netflix, they have just added 5 point something million subscribers and viewing your work over and over all, for example, Suits, you know, it is what number 2 on Netflix right now. It's like on streamers, it's like 2.3 billion views. Then the streaming sites, Netflix and stuff, they are making a mint on this, and the actors make nothing. And so that's why I was like hoping, I was tweeting about this. Is like they better be paying the actors the residuals and paying them at a rate that matches the popularity of the show, because this show is bringing Netflix a lot of money. It's bringing Peacock a lot of money. And so, so at least the writers are taken care of on the show. Let's hope the same for the actors. So they haven't said anything, at least not publicly. I know one of the actors tweeted about it, that he was really surprised that how, because it's an old show, how people are just gravitating to it, and that it's doing so well. He didn't seem upset or anything. He hadn't mentioned anything about their residuals, but I'm hoping, especially that Meghan is, has a deal with Netflix, that they won't chip her, so, but at least this part is good. So hopefully we hear more about their deal through SAG. So yeah, so at least this part is okay. So I'm hoping the same for the actors. But it's very, very interesting. I can't imagine, you're creating stuff and they're making money off of you and your image, and you make nothing. I mean, 81 cents. It's just just like, and one of the actors, she was saying that, when they were doing the show, they they were getting paid so little that the actors couldn't even afford a cab home. They had to keep their second job. That's how little Netflix was paying them. They had to keep their second job. They couldn't even afford a cab home. It's just, I mean, and then yet you see them, they have all this stuff, and they were, you see them on red carpets and stuff like that. And that's why I always tell people with stuff like this, when you see people on red carpets, usually the people on red carpets are the least powerful people in Hollywood. You don't see, you don't see studio executives on a red carpet. You don't see that, you know. And honestly, as one actor said, they basically they gave you the red carpet to sort of compensate in a way for not paying you. And she was like, no, you could keep your red carpet, and you pay me my money. So I don't blame her. So yeah, again, people see that, they see them on red carpet, you see them in magazines and stuff, and you think that they have the power. And yeah, the actors are the least powerful people in Hollywood. So it's really interesting stuff. So anyways, moving on from that, kudos to Suits, who is doing amazing things. So anyways, and moving on. Were you guys keeping up with this today? I mean, yesterday we read some of this, and it just like, I was just like, are you serious? And again, we were doing the podcast yesterday when it dropped, and so I read the first part of it, and then obviously read the end of it after, and it is a doozy. The link is in the show notes of yesterday's. It's going to be in the show notes of this as well, and also it will also put it in the it's also in the community page, and so one of those you can find the links to read this article. And it just, I think back about when that whole big lie about Meghan being a bully, and this whole Valentine Lowe thing, and how Dan Wooten especially went after Meghan, you know, and about her being a bully. And it's just, my thing is like, if you have all this stuff in your past, why would you be going again, like going after somebody, condemning them when you can't be that clueless about your own behavior that you don't know that you're doing worse things. Meghan hasn't done anything. We know the bullying charges are fake, and it's just like, so I'm like, I'm telling you, these people, I don't understand them. I don't understand, and so obviously, Byline Times dropped this yesterday. Dan Wooten was a serial bully at the Sun, but boss promoted him as complaints were silenced. In part two of this investigation, Tom Laughlin and Dan Evans examined the professional conduct of the TV presenter at the tabloid, and that tabloid is the Sun. And Dan Wooten, I'm like, so I think he worked there from 2013 to 2021. And so he's there for like 7-8 years. And that's one of the things, when you see stuff like this, and you realize, like, when you think of him and Piers Morgan, these people literally fail up. It's like they do stuff like bullying and stuff like that, and they get promoted. They get a raise. They get, even if they leave the company, they get a better job. Like, for example, Piers Morgan sitting on a $50 million contract with Rupert Murdoch. What did he do to get it? Bully Meghan Markle, bullied Meghan for 6 years, how much ever it was, and then walked out when he was confronted by it on GB News. And what did he get? What did he get for his trouble? £50 million from Rupert Murdoch and his own show, leading a channel, which is, by the way, failing, but it is what it is, right? And so this is some of what the Byline Times article says. Dan Wooten was a serial bully at the Sun, but bosses promoted him as complaints were silenced. In the second part of this investigation, which we just read, I think we just read all of that. The important part of this is what I highlighted. The two reporters, Tom Laughlin and Dan Evans, who investigated the story for 3 years, and I'm sure there are others on the team, but those are the two leading ones, and their names on the byline there. They are, as you can see at the bottom, they are not new to this. They're not new to Dan. In fact, they were former colleagues of Dan at News of the World. And, Byline wants us to know none of the sources in the investigation were paid for their testimony. Dan Evans and Tom Laughlin were Dan Wooten's co-workers, so they know who they're talking about. And not only that, they worked at News of the World. And what is News of the World known for? Well, they were shut down, during Leveson. Why? Because they were phone hackers. They were hacking people's phones. They, and we talked about Graham Johnson, who is who has Byline Investigates. He is one of the co-owners and one of the writers there on Byline Investigates as well. He also worked with them. He also was at News of the World, and used to write these lying articles until they fired him. Well, Tom and Dan, the two Dans, Dan Evans and Tom Laughlin, were at Byline Investigates with Dan Wooten. So they know what they're talking about. And so they have a lot of in that world. And again, the thing with this is, and News of the World is Rupert Murdoch owned. So they all worked for Rupert Murdoch. So they know the ins and outs of the culture of News of the World. It's a lot of people, none of them, I guess, left News of the World and ended up at Rupert Murdoch's other paper, the Sun. And so they know what they're talking about. So they're not just Wooten is not new to them, And so it's incredible, the things that that we learned today about this. And I'm just gonna move my banner. That's just sticking, and I have the hiccups. I'm like, why do I have hiccups? So excuse me. And so I'm gonna move my banner for a bit. So some of you, I'm sure, may have read this, and if you have not read it, I'm going to read some of it. Hopefully I didn't take too much of their article. I don't want to do that. So give me 1 second while I just gulp some water, which my grandmother taught me to do, how to end a hiccup. So hopefully that ends it. But anyways, this is some of what the article said. And oh my goodness, I was just not prepared for some of this stuff. It says representatives for Wooten have been asked by this newspaper to confirm or deny whether the presenter was or is connected to Branning, which was Martin Branning, that we learned that he is Martin Branning. So Byline Times is trying to confirm, have Dan Wooten or his team confirm or deny that whether he is Martin Branning. Neither Wooten or his GB News statement on Tuesday, nor his representatives have yet clarified this point. He denies any allegation of criminality. Byline Times has now spoken to multiple former editorial and support staff at Britain's biggest tabloids, many of whom are fearful of being identified after their experiences working at Murdoch's own News UK, with one left suicidal, another suffering stress-induced hair loss, and others deserting the industry. Among the questions the publisher, Byline Times, asked is to confirm and this is to the Sun. This is letters because they send to questions to Wooten and his team, and also to the Sun and News UK. Among the questions to News UK, to the publisher, Byline Times asked it to confirm the earliest date of any record held digitally or analog format containing the names Martin Branning and Maria Joseph. This is the other alias that Wooten goes by. News UK declined to respond, but did not deny that all 6 individuals received severance payments contingent on the signing of binding restrictive covenants or non-disclosure agreements, and the cost of the legal proceedings and settlement is estimated to be more than £1 million. And these are the 6 people that has brought bullying charges against Dan Wooten. And so instead of firing Dan Wooten, what did they do? They paid them off. Make them sign a restrictive non-disclosure and, pay them off. And pay them off, it says up to whether individually they received $1 million or it's together, it totaled $1 million. However they worked it, I'm going to leave that with them. But some more about the article says, while News UK last night urged potential complainants to go to the Sun's corporate affairs team if contacted by external media for comment, this newspaper is taking care not to reveal the sexes or the job titles of the 6 people whom it is understood are not the only ones who feel they've been bullied or harassed by Wooten. In one of the cases, a very senior member of the Sun team took a kitchen knife to a meeting with the former editor of the newspaper with the intention of slitting their own wrists in front of the executive, who had sided with Wooten in a dispute ultimately settled for six figure sum. So here's one person getting $1 million, at least, I mean, they took a kid. I mean, what? I can't even imagine what would lead someone to take a kitchen knife to their job with the intention of slitting their wrist in front of their boss because they've been so bullied by him. It is unbelievable. It goes on to say former staff have told Byline investigates how Wooten continually tried to make people admit they were bisexual or gay. He challenged people on their sexual orientation all the time. Several sources have spoken of the sexual harassment of male colleagues, while at least 2 female colleagues were reduced to tears daily by his conduct. Dan Wooten was doing this to people while he was their boss. Trying to either out people, trying to turn straight people gay or bisexual, whatever, And so there, according to the article, they were just like, he was trying to turn people gay. But for me, when I look at this, I was like, no, I think he was trying to blackmail them. Get them to do something and blackmail them, which is more, for me, looking at, the overall, that's Martin Branning's, that's what he is about. Secretly videotaping these kind of things so he can blackmail people with them. It is unbelievable. And we're just finding this out now. Or at least when, a couple of other outlets, I think they posted it last year or something like that. But more mainstream, this is the first time we're hearing this. It is unbelievable. And they keep promoting it. And the article goes on to say, as the boss, Dan Wooten as the boss, he had controls over the company's payments. He would sabotage other journalists. He would go into the payment system and find out the names of contacts. He would then get in touch with them himself and make them deal with him directly. And it's so funny, when I saw this, I instantly thought of Emily Andrews, because I would bet my life this is how Emily Andrews lost her job at The Sun, because she was the royal reporter there. And all of a sudden, Dan Wooten was getting all these scoops, and next thing you know, Emily was kicked to the curb. Not that Emily Andrews deserved any sympathy, because she's a cretin, just like the rest of them. But this is, I can imagine this is what happened to her job. Because all of a sudden, Dan Wooten was getting all the scoops that she would normally get. And she was just literally kicked to the curb. And pretty much the same thing happened when she was at the Daily Mail. Dan Wooten came over, and next thing you know, Emily was gone. It would be interesting to hear from her, that little story. But yeah, he would sabotage them and take their contacts. And, if for journalists or reporters, these people are not journalists, your contacts are the most sacred thing to you. And he would just take them because he could, because he was the boss, And it goes on to say, but he had a decisive falling out with the current editor, Victoria Newton. And that's the same Victoria Newton who approved Jeremy Clarkson's vicious, nasty articles against Meghan. It says in February 2020 was 1 month after Dan Wooten, someone leaked at the palace, someone leaked Harry and Meghan's information to Dan Wooten about them moving, leaving the royal institution, and all the stuff that happened. That happened in January. This is 1 month later. But he had a decisive falling out with current editor Victoria Newton. In February 2020, on her first day in the role, Wooten left Newton furious by demanding she promote him and prompting a quote-unquote cute move by the new editor, who reached out to Wooten's best remaining royal contact. Let that sink in for a second. She reached out to Wooten's best remaining royal contact and placed them on a special retainer, ensuring that they dealt exclusively with her. And it's just like, who is this royal contact? And what did they have to do that, for them to be Dan Wooten's royal contact? And then it says, she placed them on a retainer. Like, she is paying anybody who works for the royal family. They are working for this. Like, that's a government job. I mean, and our squaddies in the UK could correct me if I'm wrong, but placing a government official on a retainer is illegal, or at least should be. It is unethical. And so I'm like, are you serious? And so, thankfully, wonderful squaddies pull these things together. Thank you, Barbara 27541025, who posted. Barbara T posted this. Which one of these three is the palace, the royal contact for Dan Wooten? And what did Dan Wooten have on them? Again, as I said the other day, are we to expect a sorted, one of those sorted videotapes or something coming out from the palace because of Dan Wooten? It's unreal to me that they, like, I can't get over. They put the royal contact on everything. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? And if you don't know who these people are, that's from the top to bottom. That's Christian Jones, who used to work for, I think for William. He used to, when Harry and Meghan and William shared staff, he used to work for both. But then when Meghan and Harry moved off and had Sussex, their own Sussex team, he stayed with William. That's Christian Jones at the top. And of course, that's Dan Wooten. That's Simon Case, who works for the back. He came from the government and is back with the government, being the fly, as Harry referred to him. And that's Jason Knopf at the bottom. Jason Knopf went to school with Dan Wooten in New Zealand. Which one of these people were the contact, or which ones of them were the palace contacts that Rebecca Newton stole from Dan? It is unbelievable, and very curious. Not only did they put this contact, quote unquote, contact from the palace on a retainer, that same year, Prince William received a $1 million for supposedly phone hacking from the same tabloid, The Sun. And it's like, all of a sudden, I'm like, so was that part of this? I mean, who knows? Was William the person that's been leaking to Dan Wooten? Is Simon Case? Is Christian Jones? Is Jason? Like, who? Which one of them were the ones leaking? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Hacked Off wrote this article, and we talked about this yesterday. One of the things that's been happening is the silence of the British press, the absolute silence. It's like there is a blackout, it's a news blackout on information, on reporting on this story. And even when the reporters report on it, it's reported from Dan Wooten's side, and they're not reporting on the actual charges against Dan Wooten at all. So Hacktoff talked about it. We looked at something Hacktoff did yesterday. It says Hacktoff research has found that in the first 24 hours after the Sun's initial story was published about the unnamed BBC presenter, whom we now know to be newsreader Hugh Edwards, at least 24 articles appeared about the story across the UK most read newspapers. In contrast, in the 24 hours after Byline broke allegations of wrongdoing made against Dan Wooten, only one article, The Guardian, was reported to have appeared is reported to have appeared about him in the same newspapers. And they said the newspaper that they reviewed are the Time, Telegraph, Mirror, Sun, Guardian, Daily Mail. None of them. The 24-hour period reviewed was from the Times publication, the Sun initial story on Edwards, and Byline Time initial story on Wooten. And Hacktoff CEO said this is further evidence that the British national press cannot be trusted to report on allegations of wrongdoing and scandal within its own industry. That we saw, and that we're seeing. There has been silence. And, begs the question, what does Dan Wooten have on them? That's a really big question. What does Dan Wooten have on these officials? He's been doing this for 10 years. That they are silent. Even LBC, where you have these liberal, announcers, are not even talking about it. And it's just like, whoa. Let's talk about LBC, LBC, who knew? Thank you, Catfight Back, posted, and that is why I love squatties. They came up with all these things that you didn't even know was there. Apparently, Dan Wooten used to work for LBC. So now they are part of we're not going to talk about Dan. We're just going to pretend none of this is happening at all. And it will all go away, But apparently, Dan Wooten used to work for LBC, so they're all in this protection racket together. It is unbelievable. And you would think this stuff is, is just this time. And with the way how News UK or The Sun or the Daily Mail are pretending, the way they're acting is like, oh, this has never happened before. This is all new. It's just like, oh, you could come and speak to the lawyer. They hire new lawyers and all of those things to take care of their employees. And you would think, oh, well, okay, this is the first time it's happening. But it is not. And thanks to, our wonderful squaddies who found these locked data, this is what she found in 2003. The case of the Sun editor's sexual harassment and a £500,000 payoff. Rupert Murdoch Company News International paid $500,000 to silence allegations of serious sexual harassment against a former editor of the Sun newspaper, a Labour MP has claimed. Stuart Higgins, it's the one that's the allegations was about. Stuart Higgins was accused of crude and offensive behavior towards his executive secretary during the time he edited the paper between 1994 and 1998. The Labour MP Clive Soley told the Parliament that the staff on Britain's biggest selling newspaper had suffered sexual harassment and bullying. This was 2003. So this culture was there even then. It is unbelievable. Thank you, Lark, Brazen Hussey, for finding this. And it's even more sick. Thank you, Alexis Archwell Baby, who posted this. She says the royal source added Camilla had a special contact with Sun's former editor, the former editor's son, the same person, Stuart Higgins. Even though he has left, the palace still sees the Sun as a good vehicle when it wants to get a particular message across. And it's like this same person who had all these sexual harassment and all that stuff against him, he is a Camilla's special contact. It's unbelievable. And if that's not bad enough, it says amendment to, then this is about Prince Harry's court case. Amendment to Harry's legal claim also alleged that the former News UK editors Phil Hall, Bob Baird, and the Sun former editor Stuart Higgins, same guy, and David Yellen must have also known about the illegal targeting of Diana during the mid 1990s. And obviously, Harry, this is about Harry defending his mom against these people. Harry has made clear that he blames the media, the tabloid media, for the death of his mother while being chased by paparazzi through Paris. On Tuesday, the High Court heard his claim and the press intrusion by the Sun and other newspapers led to her choosing to travel without a police escort or in order to avoid leaks, ultimately leading to her death in 1997. Same people, same person. And it's like, yeah, they've done this before. They are just sitting there pretending like, oh, this is a new teaching. Meanwhile, they are paying people off left and right. Unbelievable. So hopefully this goes all the way, and it just and then Byline Times keep just outing Dan Wooten with his and the Sun with their mess. It's unbelievable that they're absolutely unbelievable. It's just and so no sooner did all of this happen, everybody is getting used to the article, and Squatty is like tweeting this thing left and right, and just about everybody else tweeting it. What happens? What normally happens when you go against the British establishment? We talked about it, from Jersey Island, who is a dependent of the crown. They, one of the things that Stuart Stivet, I think his name is, was saying, when you go against the establishment there, you cannot stay on the island, you have to leave, or they will they will destroy your life and your family's life. And this is exactly what we're seeing, along with the complete silence of the British press, along with the complete, press blackout with this story. This is what was happening to the staff of Byline Times today. Update on our next media 2 Dan Wooten story. There has been some illicit attempt to access our work by unknown third parties. We're conducting a full security review to our IT consultants. This may delay our story a little till this evening. They were supposed to drop another, they dropped one yesterday. They were supposed to drop another today. But someone tried to hack them. And you might ask, well, how do you know? It's like, well, remember who the editors are, the reporters are. They worked at News UK. They worked at News of the World. And what was News of the World famous for? Hacking. That's what they were doing. That was happening at News UK. So they know, fast forward now, they know when they're being hacked. Because their old paper, that was what they're known for. So not only did they get hacked, they were tweeting. I mean, they've been tweeting all day. Security update too. The same team member who believes he was hacked had blood smeared over the windshield of his car this morning. This may well be a coincidence, but rest assured, both incidents have been reported to the police. Somebody smeared blood over his car. I'm telling you, it is a racket. It is a mafia when you go against the British press or any of their, the royal family or whomever, So, but Byline Times tweeted says, we will not be intimidated, to quote the phrase, nefarious characters, which Dan used in his speech on Tuesday. Nefarious character or dark forces we will not be intimidated by nefarious characters or dark forces. And they are raising funds for those reporters, so people could go sign up, subscribe, and support Byline Times. And yeah, it's just like they are doing their job. Dan Wooten and the rest were screaming about free press. Well, this is what reporting without fear of ever means. They always love to go, oh, we report without fear or favor. Well, there you go. Without fear, I should say, or favor. And well, there you go. Right? So Scobie joined in today. He says, this is what, and retweeting or quote tweeting Byline Times. He said, this is what happens when you try and expose illegal practices, immoral behavior, or corruption in the British media. It's why few people ever speak out about their experiences or things they have witnessed. For those who do, expect your life to be made a living hell. To the good folks in the industry, there are many, silence is not acceptable. When we watch our peers get bullied, intimidated, and harassed, saying nothing makes you part of the problem. And Scobie goes on to say, I stand in solidarity with those who make our media landscape a better place. And so, yeah, it's like they are going through it. And now Dan has turned his lawyer on them. It's like the whole day of drama, with this. But imagine that they are doing their job, and whomever it was, maybe Dan's people, whomever people it was that that hacked them and then smeared. I mean, hello, they are like trying to intimidate the reporters. So Byline Time Khadija says, update 3. As well as security threats, we, of course, face legal challenges to our reporting, which we will counter. This was sent by Wooten's lawyer to a raft of other news organizations in an attempt to chill their follow-up reporting. To us, this looked like slap. And down at the bottom, I put a screenshot about what SLAP is. SLAP is a strategic lawsuit against public participation. SLAP refers to lawsuit brought by individuals and entities to dissuade their critics from continuing to produce negative publicity. By definition, SLAP suits do not have any true legal claim against the critic. And so basically what Dan, Free Press Dan wants to do is basically shut down the Byline Times investigation. And so that's why they are basically threatening. And so this is what Byline Times posted. It says Byline Times reporting is replete. Well, this is what Dan Wooten's people sent to different news outlets to dissuade them. And this is what they said to these news outlets. Byline Times reporting is replete with false allegations about our client, including grave allegations about our client has committed criminal acts by using illegal means to obtain compromising sexual material for scores of male victims who he targeted in a multi-year criminal conspiracy operation. This allegation and allegations of criminal wrongdoing are emphatically denied by our client. We have now, as a result of the publication, engaged in a formal pre-action correspondence with Byline Times and its reporting. And its reporting is accordingly now under legal complaint. Our clients will not allow this false and damaging reporting by Byline Times to go uncorrected and unanswered. So then Wooten decided, it's like, okay, I'm bringing my lawyers into it. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So now, not only Byline Times is dealing with hacking, they are dealing now with Dan Wooten's lawyers. And again, they're, threatening to slap a lawsuit on them, basically to shut them down, shut down this investigation. And not only that, it's like, but again, when you think of Dan Wooten, most of what Dan Wooten does is lie. So it stands to reason that those around him are also liars. Byline went on to tweet, it says, meanwhile, Wooten's lawyers have made blatantly false claims to other media organizations about Byline Times. They say our client was not informed by Byline Times. Our client was not informed by Byline Times allegations in advance. How could we have cited them when we published the article then? So this is what Byline Times is saying. I mean, if we didn't contact you and to try to, make sure Dan Wooten knows what we're, about the investigation and about the questions, then if you didn't, if we didn't do that, then how could we have quoted you in the article where we said that, you didn't confirm anything and that Dan Wooten denied, any criminality. So this, it is just, anyways. So this, it goes on to say, this is what the Wooten's lawyer is saying. Our client was not informed by Byline Times of the allegations in advance of publication, despite it claiming it had undertaken a 3-year investigation and was thereby denied the opportunity to respond to the allegations and or take appropriate pre-publication steps. This includes consider seeking injunctive relief, which is what they're trying to do. Tonight, a representative from Dan Wooten declined, and this is what, the Dan Wooten's lawyer is saying that, oh my gosh, Dan Wooten was never given, they never contacted, they never informed him and stuff. But then at the bottom, this is literally what was in the article. And what was in the article? It says, tonight, a representative of Dan Wooten declined to provide Byline with an on-the-record response. It understood that he strongly denies all allegations of criminality. The representative did not clarify when asked whether Wooten is also denying being Martin Browning. This is literally what the article says. And Wooten's lawyers are lying about them not being involved, them not being informed. It is unbelievable. Amazing. So if you want to laugh, Dan Wooten has decided when all else fails and he realizes that he cannot shut down this campaign, you do what desperate people do. Dan Wooten posts this: a hard left blog is on a deranged campaign of harassment designed to destroy me financially, mentally, and professionally. But with your help, they will not succeed. Please support my legal case against Byline Times, so I can keep fighting for you. And the fundraiser is Stop Dan Wooten Being Cancelled by Far Left Online Spares. I mean, it is just, I had to laugh when I see this. I'm like, you couldn't get more stupid than this. You literally could not get more stupid than this. It is just like Dan Wooten is literally out there crowdfunding to supposedly pay his legal fees. The actual charges against Dan Wooten is that he was paying thousands of dollars to men to perform sexual acts for him. Thousands. And all of a sudden, Dan Wooten has decided, oh, I can't pay for my own legal thing. I need to crowdfund. I need to make money off the gullible people who watch my show and get my friends to join in to give me money because I'm fighting for you, says Dan Wooten. I'm like, are you serious? But yeah, Dan Wooten is out there literally campaigning and grifting for money. It is unbelievable. And so I had to laugh. I just literally had to laugh. And before we even, actually, this outlet, Pop B Word, they've been posting a lot. I mean, they have been dropping like these, hints about Dan Wooten for quite a while now. And so now that this is all broken out, they've decided to write this little story. And you guys could remember when the whole Philip Schofield thing happened, and Dan Wooten saying that, the reason why he's not at ITV anymore is because they didn't want him to speak out against Philip Schofield. Meanwhile, before he had said the reason why he left is because they didn't want him speaking out and attacking the Sussexes. Now he changed his, reason why he left ITV to, when Schofield was happening, to them not wanting him to talk about Schofield, so he left. Well, this outlet dropped this today. It says, during Philip Schofield's saga, Dan Wootton wrote in his popular Mail column that the reason he quit his job at ITV was because they tried to ban him from talking about Schofield and Meghan Markle on the air. Unwilling to be bound by such suffocating conditions, Dan claimed he proudly told them where to stick their job and left. This might astound you, but it seems recollections of those events differ somewhat from person to person. The story that survives at ITV is that Dan was suspected of leaking stories that he had gleaned from hanging around ITV and feeding them back to his paymasters at the Sun, in a breach of terms of his employment. To make sure it wasn't coincidence, they pulled the old Wagga Christie trick on him, deliberately floating some fake gossip his way to see if, by some miracle, it made its way into the paper. And it did. So they dropped him. So Dan Wootton was like all this time about him leaving ITV, not realizing, not being honest with the fact that they're the one that sacked him because he was breaching his contract. And it's just, again, why would we expect truth from Dan Wootton? We should never expect truth from Dan Wootton. We'll come back to Commonwealth later. But one of the things that happened to, after all that mess was happening, it was just like, are you serious? Are you serious? This is what you're doing? So Byline Investigates, and I have to pull up this thread because it is a doozy. Byline Investigates posted this thread, and I had it, and I just lost it. So hang on one second while I find this thread from Byline Investigates about Dan Wootton and his mess. Hang on one second. Here it is. This is a thread that Byline Investigate posted later. It says, breaking news. Dan Wootton tonight crowdfunded for legal fees as he faces a series of allegations made by Byline Times. He sent a message to dozens of celebrities' contacts, begging them to contribute, including at least one of those he alleged to have catfished. In a round-robin message, Wootton wrote, "This has been the worst week of my life, but I have to fight these disgusting smears against me. I wouldn't ask for your help unless I was desperately in need." It goes on to say, if you can please support this crowdfunder, it will go entirely to my legal fees to fight Byline Media, which is one of the most sick and twisted campaigns to push me over the edge. And you're like, how many people has Dan Wootton pushed over the edge again? Carolyn Flack comes to mind. Dan Wootton goes on to say in his letter to his, possible funders, "I know this is a big ask, but please share this on your social media and with as many friends as possible. Trust me that this is a campaign to see me canceled and destroyed. It's chilling. I really do need your help. Please." One of the recipients told Byline Times, "I haven't heard from Dan in years. The fact that he messaged me, and presumably many like me, who he's not gotten any ongoing relationship with, makes him look guilty and desperate." Byline Times goes on to say, Byline Times stands by our allegation and has more to follow. So support us, and they're pushing their campaign. And another thing that those at Byline Times said, for the people funding Dan Wootton's, there are ridiculous people that are literally funding his campaign. Peter Jukes, who is one of the heads of Byline Times, says, those people by this time next week, they're going to want their money back. And he goes on to say, because Dan Wootton is threatening to sue them and all of that stuff, he's like, with the amount of evidence they have against Dan Wootton, he will not dare initiate a lawsuit against them. So from Monday, whatever report that was supposed to drop today is going to drop on Monday, and they said this could go on for weeks, them dropping more and more because more and more people are coming out against Dan Wootton. And just the idea, I mean, I had to laugh. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Dan Wooten, who is by all accounts a millionaire, trying to bet. I mean, this man, again, this man was paying thousands of dollars to get sexual material from people. Now is crowdfunding from his stupid listeners, begging money from them to pay for his legal bills. Like, and believe it or not, some of his friends are on Twitter retweeting Dan Wooten's fundraiser. And the funny thing is, I'm like, I want to see what people said, under these tweets. And oh, it's a doozy. Then, like, 99% of the people are like, no, no. And they are bringing up all of the mess that Dan Wooten has done. But the fact that the thing about him, and again, the and his just deliberate lack of awareness, the fact that this man has spent his life literally trying to destroy other people's life, have the audacity to claim that these nefarious dark forces are trying to drive him, drive him over the edge. And again, we bring up Carolyn Fack, who he bullied and bullied until she committed suicide. Look at what he's been doing. I mean, literally, the day this all broke a couple of days ago, Dan Wooten apparently that night was still attacking Meghan and Harry. And yet in his statement, he literally says, his listeners have to believe he has changed. I'm like, change from what exactly? What exactly did you change from? It is just, I mean, I am like, unbelievable. And it's so funny. I think it was Sarah Data on Twitter talked about it, because Dan Wooten in his statement on Tuesday on his show claimed that Byline Times is just there because they were trying to destroy GB News and all of that stuff, and it's like, well, if y'all believe that this investigation is about GB News, even though it started way before GB News was ever in existence. If you all believe that this was a targeting and trying to destroy GB News, then why do you need to crowdfund? Why isn't GB News funding your, legal bills? Why isn't that happening? And so it is just, I mean, look out for Monday, because goodness grievous, at this point, if I hear that Dan Wooten, as Dr. Shola says, decide to go the, Philip Schofield and Hugh Edwards, my mental health, I'm going to check myself in somewhere. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if by Monday you hear Dan Wooten has hightailed it back to New Zealand. I would not be surprised. Because here is Dan Wooten weeping because of, as he claimed, he's getting attacked. But by an expose for 1 week, he couldn't handle it for 1 week. Yet this man has been attacking Meghan for years. 1 week, and he can't handle it. Unbelievable. Sylvia says, I heard Dan had a 10-minute segment each night going after Harry and Meghan, but mostly Meghan. He is still trying to radicalize people against our sweet Meghan and who has done nothing wrong. Yeah. This is the same man who wants us to have this nuanced looks like, oh, I have a past where I did wrong things or I made bad choices, whatever. But, you have to believe that I've changed. He wants people, yet he has no qualms about trying to destroy Meghan. No qualms about trying to destroy Harry. No qualms about bullying people. I mean, Lily Allen, I think she's like a singer, I guess, from the UK, singer and actress, something, had this whole thing, a thread on Twitter about Dan Wooten for 10 years, pursuing her and demonizing her and attacking her. 10 years. And she even posted one of the articles, the front page of what Dan Wooten was doing to her. There's this, I guess she's a singer. I think she's called Alexandra, I think, from X Factor. I think she was one of those shows she was in. Also talked about Dan Wooten making up all these lies that was so damaging to her about her when she was on the show. All, I mean, over and over. There were examples of Dan Wooten interviewing this girl from I don't remember what country in Africa, and the girl specifically telling don't say anything about I guess the leader of the country because they might try to harm her. What did Dan Wooten and the son do? Blast this headline that the leader is trying to kill the girl, put her life in danger. So Dan Wooten has spent his entire, I mean, and again, look at the evidence of the people from the Sun. Look at what he did to them, to the point where this guy, I mean, I can't even get over that kitchen knife incident. For somebody to do that, you really have to push them close to the edge. And this is the same Dan Wooten that's trying to get sympathy from people. Unbelievable. Little Mac says, I heard Lady C said this harassment of Wu was orchestrated by Harry and Meghan. Of course. Of course. Of course. Let's see. uh, Sonia says, I'm laughing. I'm laughing too. My son is looking at me like I lost my mind. I think we were all like laughing. I think we all lost our mind because it's so comical. This loud guy all of a sudden is begging for money. Unbelievable. And some stupid people are going to give Dan Wooten money. They're going to do it too. Little Mac says, I gave my money to Byline Time. Woo lawyers better get paid up front because Woo may be broke, living the high life and paying for pictures. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, they said that he was worth like 1.3 million or something like that. But I mean, look at all the money he's been paying out to people to get that stuff. So, it just I can't get over that. Even one of the guys who accused him of, what a really harsh thing of raping him and all of that stuff, he was tweeting about Dan Wooten, saying like, the fact that he was there begging for money. It's just everybody's like, yeah, dude, yeah, you really look guilty, you know. And so what the guy Kev is his name. He's like, he couldn't believe Dan Wooten is crowdfunding to pay for his legal fees, to crowdfunding to really for Byline Times and stuff to not cancel him over things that he actually did. And it's just I love the fact that Kev and his ex-boyfriend, they're not hiding. They are on Twitter. They're not hiding. They're not going away. Dan Wooten, I felt like with this whole thing attacking Byline, it's all to silence them for this to go away. And for the first time in his life, this is not going away. We refuse to let this go away, even though the British press has been silent. Twitter and other social media platforms has not been silent. So yeah. Let's see. I'll stay in the chat for a bit. Desmond says, I donated to Byline Byline's crowdfunding. I want Byline to bring the house down on all of them derangers. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I know, those reporters like, Richard Eden and stuff, they're shaking in their boots. He wants to know, like, his thing is like, well, should it be that just because you criticize somebody, you have your whole life dug into? I was like, the audacity of these people who, again, spent years trying to dig into Harry and Meghan's life with lies after lies after lies, invading their privacy, should be, complaining about, just because we criticize you doesn't mean, that our lives. It's like, well, two could play this game, Richard Eden. Two can play that game. So they're all a little bit, shall we say, tense. Um, that's what says. Dan Woo Woo. I love this Dan Woo Woo. And the Middleton grifters. They are total grifters. Total grifters. And it's good. It's good to see Dan Wooten exposing himself for the grifter that he is. Unbelievable. Lydia says, I would not give him a quarter. A terrible person. Girl, I would not give that man a penny. You were even generous with a quarter. I would say I would not even give him a penny. Laurie says, Dan Wooten is duplicating Trump's playbook. He used the witch hunt word used by Trump, and now he's begging people to give him money, just like Trump did. Dan is the despicable, rotten fish. OMG, you are so right. This is exactly what Trump does. This is exactly what he does. He doesn't want to use his own money to pay for legal fees. He knows he has a bunch of people that are stupid enough to give him money. So, yeah, let them pay for it. Unbelievable. Lydia says, they need to release all that right now. I know, right? We would never leave that computer if they released all that stuff that they have on their routine. But they're letting him sweat. So good. They are making him sweat. So there you go. Sonia says, "Oh, Danny boy, the walls are closing in from the east to the west. Miss Karma is stopping by, and then the north and the south will follow with a tight squeeze. Oh, Danny boy, your time is." I can imagine this being a song, and he knows it too. He knows it too. You know, it's unbelievable. I keep saying unbelievable, but it's just like, I mean, what did he think was gonna happen? Did he really believe that people forever was not gonna say anything? Did he believe that people that you could get away with stuff like that forever? According to some of them, that he really believed that he was untouchable. So I guess he really had that in him to think that he was untouchable. And interesting. Let's see. Mary H is like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? That wasn't really? Yes. Yep. So anyway. Let's see. Terry says he was fired, didn't leave on his own. He's such a liar and a sad little man. Of course, we know that Prince Harry called him a sad little man in Spare. Yeah, I mean, obviously he was like claiming that he left ITV, and now it's like, no, dude, they let you go. So it's amazing. I'm telling you, the squad has been warning those people on Shutter Island. We've been warning them from the beginning. It's like, you will not know peace until you do right by Meghan Markle. That's been our mantra. They will not know peace until they do right by her. And this is, you mess around with the ancestors, descendants, and the ancestors are like gonna pull up a chair and deal with you. And Dan Wooten is being dealt with. So, Crack Me Up Love says, tell him to call Jason Ralph the Big Daddy while the royal family have some bad friends. Yeah, say. Yep, I'm sure they'd like to donate to his campaign. Unbelievable. Christine Rose says all of Wooten's victims should file a class action lawsuit against Wooten, Rupert Murdoch, and FA. I'm not sure what FA means. Probably family. But yeah, I mean, some people actually believe that's what he is raising funds for, because he will need to pay a lot of people. And so they don't believe it's for his court case. They believe is for him suing. They believe is he will need a lot of money to pay people because they're coming for him. So would I be surprised? No. Hopefully they do. This is actually a really good thought. Like, definitely go after him. Oh, Black Queen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate, my dear. Thank you, our awesome moderator, Black Queen, supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, but yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys, I'm telling you, after all the stuff that we just read, again, who is that person? Who is the palace? I mean, I'm assuming if Byline Investigate knows that they're probably not going to say, they probably just say, a royal source. But I hope they come and camp out on that for a minute and camp out about Dan Wooten, whether he's blackmailing people, however he's getting information from the palace. And, I just like, I mean, I don't know that they would release the name of the person, but, hopefully. Um, Karen Warner says, "Hi, Karen." Karen says, "I knew there was always something very serious that we didn't hear yet. They were too loud and bold, like they were using their loudness to intimate and scare people off from bringing out the truth." This is very, very true, Karen. I literally tweeted about that. You know, it was very, very clear, especially during the Schofield scandal, how loud Dan Wooten and Eamon Holmes were. I mean, again, they were ready to kick Schofield to the hell and back, and lock the keys. I mean, lock the doors. And so it just like, yeah, when you see a lot of people like that, that was the thing that the question I had. I'm like, what are they trying to hide? What in their life they're trying to hide? And they do use that loudness to scare people off. Really great point, Karen. Karen, really, really great point. Um, let's see. Amaka says that no wicked shall go unpunished, including Dan Woo. No, it doesn't. Unbelievable. Um, Laura says, Harry, by taking the UK Associated Press to court, has opened the way for others to go ahead and fight all of the so-called journalists. Harry is inspiring people who have been done wrong by the news people. Very, very true. Very, 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 very true. You know, that whole thing, and I was worried about Harry for a minute there because it's like, he shouldn't have to be the only one doing this. Of course, we know that he's not, we have Elton and all of those people around doing the same thing. But, even with that, you know, Harry gets attacked left and right for bringing, this case against the court, against the press, you know. And so, look, to see this where, byline investigators are coming out and more people within the system are speaking out, hopefully they'll be more vocal. It's good. It's really, really good. And then, and Harry is helping to inspire, like you said, inspire people to speak out against the press. Let's see. Dansmith said, I would love to see a big name show get Dan Woo-Woo's victims all together to hear them tell their stories. I mean, hey, who knows? That might happen. That definitely might happen. Let's see. A few more. Oh, Laura, I think you're it. I'm dropping on it, totally dropping on your comments. Murdoch has been losing a lot of money in recent years because of misinformation. Liars spread by people, lies spread by his people. There will come a time, if this is not already here, where Murdoch would no longer pay out. I mean, that money is gonna stop eventually, right? It's gonna run out eventually. So, yeah, it's just a constant stream of paying out money, hush money to people. And I wish people would stop taking hush money and speak out instead. But no judgment here. We're all in different situations, and you know, if you're in a desperate situation and, can't blame someone for taking a payout, but then they silence you if you take a payout, then you have to sign an NDA, so you can never speak out. So yeah, unbelievable. Um, so let's see, a couple more. On this, let's see. Little Mac says, "Oh, hi, Michelle. I saw, well, I guess Piers Morgan interviewing Chris Christie, and of course, he asked about Harry, Meghan, and Harry. Christie did not take the bait. Why is he asking Chris Christie about Harry and Meghan? Does he even know who they are? Like, I don't even know you. I have like no idea who they are. I don't know if Chris Christie would even know who they are. Leslie Evans. Oh, hi, Leslie. How are you? Says Piers is in the United States and New York right now doing his show from the Fox station, and everyone he asked about Harry and Meghan, they blow off the question and go around it. This guy is still doing this. Like I haven't paid attention to what he's doing on his show. Other than the other day we were looking at the article talking about the show's failure, really, and needing a rebrand to sort of attract more listeners. But I can't believe it. I need to stop saying unbelievable. Of course, it's unbelievable. We're talking about Piers Morgan, obsessed Piers Morgan. So there. Reba, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you. Reba says, Pedal, the cancer is being exposed. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. Because when the cancer is exposed, you can cut it out and get rid of it. So there you go. There you go. Let's see. Um, Karen Werner says, "I want the victims to come out and speak out. We are here for you. You don't have to live in jail anymore. This is what the Sussex Squad is about." There you go. There you go. Um, and it's so funny with this whole thing with the blackout in the UK. It's kind of like, what does Dan Wooten have? I can imagine what Dan Wooten has on a lot of those people. I can just imagine. Amazing. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says, "I don't care how desperate you can get, you never sell your soul." Very true. Very, very true. Um, let's see. Leslie says, Pedal updates and NDAs can be broken if it's to cover up a crime, a part of a criminal investigation. Oh, so those people can, because again, there is some criminality in the allegations against Dan Wooten. So yes, ooh, be interesting to see if they, anyways, never mind. Let's see what else. It's so funny because I was just thinking about this. Just as the people who are under these NDAs, it's like, I, you know, I understand the fear of, if I break it, what will happen to me? But it's kind of like you are living knowing the truth. You're knowing how you got, how you came to sign this NDA. You're living with the fact that you took hush money. That's got to weigh on you, right? Wouldn't that? I mean, if ever a time to break this NDA would be now, right? But I guess we're all different, and some people, for them, the money is more important than. But I'm like, look. people are losing their life over this. This is, if any reason for you to, break the NDA, that would be now. So, and again, some of the charges were criminal charges. Thank you, Leslie. So hopefully some of them will do it. Hopefully. So, anyways, let's see. What else do I have? Hang on. Let me see. What else do I have? Wait. What else is going on in the world? Commonwealth Games. Well, apparently, Commonwealth Games 2026 was supposed to happen in Victoria in Australia. And they saw the budget and balked. And they were like, oh no. This budget was supposed to be $2.3 billion, and it ballooned to $7 billion. And so Victoria is like, no, no, no. So they completely pulled out. Apparently, another city in Australia, like, okay, we can do it. Guess they did the Commonwealth Games in like 2018, and so they bailed. And so it's so funny because in Canada and British Columbia, I guess people were saying like, oh, maybe they could do it, and they're like, no, we're not doing it. And in the second to last paragraph, it says the ministry pointed out that other events are coming. Our focus is on the great lineup of sports events coming to us to our province over the next 3 years. It says next November, the province will hold the Grey Cup at British Columbia Place. In 2025, we will be second Canadian city to host Invictus Games, where we will showcase adaptive sports and veterans from 20 nations. Victoria, British Columbia is like, we're not doing that. We're not taking on that debt. And to which I say, it's time to let the royal family, because this is their big thing. It's time to let them pay for it if they want the Commonwealth Games. It's time, instead of burdening countries with this, like, no, let them pay for it. So there. And finally, you may know Tony Bennett passed away today. Rest in peace, Tony Bennett. But I had no idea he had like a connection until today, a connection to Prince Harry and Lady Gaga. Well, he actually sang with Lady Gaga a few times, but I had no idea they had this connection with Prince Harry and also with Wellchild. So Wellchild posted this, and they said, we are saddened to hear the passing of Tony Bennett. Our staff and volunteers fondly the incredible concert he performed alongside Lady Gaga in aid of Wellchild. The concert was held at the Royal Albert Hall and attended by our patron Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. And this is a very young Harry with no beard. And it's so great. So it was just like, oh, that's very sad to hear. But, he was like 90 something. So, he passed on. And so, yeah. So condolence to him and his family, well, at least to his family who are, mourning at this time. But yeah, I had no idea about this connection with Wellchild and Prince Harry until today. So thank you, Wellchild, for posting it. So yeah. Shadow Mom says Australia doesn't want to host Chucky's games. Yeah, no. I mean, at least Victoria doesn't. They're saying that maybe. Well, actually, it's so funny because they were actually saying that maybe the UK could host it again. Manchester's like, no. Ain't nobody want this. And now they're like, well, is this outdated? Are these games outdated? And to which I say, yes, it is outdated. Stop spending your money. If the royal family, if they want Commonwealth Games, let them pay for it. And stop taking. And that was the I guess the mayor of Victoria in Australia. They were like, that would be taking food out of the hospital. I mean, money out of the hospitals, taking food out of babies' mouths to spend that $7 billion. How many organizations that support people are going to be affected if they're spending their billions in that way? So good for him that he backed out. Good for him that he's like, no, this is not good for my people. So it's just really, really good to see. Yeah. Yeah, nobody wants Chucky games. Let him pay for it. Crap Me Up Love says, "Oh, Leslie, please let me the dates for Will and arrival in New York City." I don't remember the dates. I think it's like September 7th or something like that. I think something like that at least. That he would be in the city for his Earthshot mess. They tried to do it last year, but obviously the Queen passed away at the same time, so they were in mourning and didn't do it. So now he's coming to New York apparently for a couple of days. So, anyways, let's see. Reba says Princess Diana is dragging out all the rodents and exposing this trash before the world. She sure is. She sure is. Mrs. Diana, the ancestors are like, we're going to take this out. We told them, you're not going to do, nothing is going to go well for you until you do right by Meghan. We told them. So there you go. A couple more before we end. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know it's late. It's like almost midnight in the US. So I'm going to end it right. Let's see, one more. Laura's like, Will is coming to the US? Why? For what? For Earthshot mess. That's all I know. They need US money. Whenever they come is when they're fundraising. The Queen did it, Prince Kim, then Prince Charles did it. Whenever they're in the US, is they're coming here for old money to fund their projects. Is what they all do. They don't like Americans. They look down on Americans, but they all look up for American money. They will suck up to you for American money. It's what they're doing, you know? So unbelievable. Like when they were in Boston, it was the same thing. He was meeting with investors and all. Yeah, because he's trying to get money. Let's see. Dansworth says, they thought they could delete Princess Diana and nothing will happen. But their karma is slowly coming. Yeah, karma is like descending on all of them, and karma is pulling up a chair and it's having a conversation. So yeah. Let's see. One more. S says the Commonwealth used to be a prestigious event. The unroyals have tarnished it since QE2 passing. The Trudeaus are friends of the Sussexes. They are. Yep. Let's see. I think that's it. All right, guys. I think that's it. It's time to go to bed. Time to get some sleep. But let's see. Lydia says the Sussex will be wrapping Invictus and in Germany when he comes. So no Prince William meet up. It seems so no Prince William meet up. It seems for Prince Harry, and they're coming to New. William is going to be in New York, and Harry is like 5-6 hours away in California. So yeah, that whole the press is gonna have that. Oh, they're gonna meet up, whatever. It's like no, they're on, and it's so funny because I think a lot of the UK don't really understand US geography. They're like, oh, William is coming to America. It's gonna meet up. It's like no, they are worlds away. The East Coast is 6 hours away from California. So yeah, chances of them meeting up, no. Leslie put the date, September 19th. I guess that's when William is going to be in New York. Yeah. So, anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging. Oh my gosh, 461 of 65 of my favorite people are hanging out with me at 11:54 p.m. So, anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to awesome moderators. I pulled this together so fast I didn't even get my credits in the bag. So thank you to our awesome moderators, Black Queen, Church Nelly. Oh, I didn't see Church Nelly. Cookies and Cream and Lydia. Thank you. And Karen M. Did I see Karen M? Thank you guys so much for everything you do, keeping this space safe and fun. Exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, MLC, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who also support us monthly. Also to our Gold Source supporters like MLC, who is in the chat tonight and supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Your support goes to pay for, StreamYard. It goes to pay for my apps that I use to create stuff. I mean, it goes to pay for all the stuff that I need to build the channel. So I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you so guys so very much. So, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm sure it's gonna be madness tomorrow, whatever crazy garbage twin Dan Wooten decided to do. I'm sure it will be new somewhere. So I will be bringing it to you. So, anyways, guys, have a fantastic sleep. May God grant you wonderful, wonderful rest. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Again, if you are here and you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and put my little banner back there and my little brand back there. There you go. Like and share the video, please, please, please. Um, you know, uh, click the notification when you subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you know when we drop a video. And if you're able, please join the channel. Join the 2 Cents crew. We support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you guys so very much, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow.